School lesson promotes anti-Trump Chinese propaganda to middle schoolers. Just get it over with already and hand out fortune cookies to the kids with their chocolate milk and commie indoctrination. Can we please do that? I'm Dr. Duke, she's Katie, and this is the Dr. Duke Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Duke Show, the only program that keeps you educated on the craziness impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses around the world. Today, we discuss a new poll that shows more Democratic students blame Donald Trump than the Chinese for the coronavirus. Plus, Michigan State University tells students to stop referring to the coronavirus as the Chinese virus. It's unacceptable. And we dive into some real education with the instant classic, Christ in the Storm on the Lake of Galilee. Great painting that was actually stolen. We haven't gotten back. But we start at a West Virginia middle school, West Virginia, West by God Virginia Middle School, where an assignment was given to students to promote anti-Trump, pro-Chinese propaganda. It's bad enough that the mainstream media, it's bad enough that the local TV stations, it's bad enough that the universities have all decided that China is the good guy. The wet markets of China are actually organic growing at their finest. But America is, of course, racist, sexist, bigoted, and homophobic for not having eradicated the disease entirely. We're teaching it now to middle schools, Katie.
Orange man bad.
Orange man bad.
All you need to know. So Stephanie Laney is a parent of an 8th grader at Hurricane Middle School. What a name. And they sent a copy of the assignment that her daughter actually received in English class. Mm-hmm. Middle school English. Let's remember that. So, basically, Stephanie's daughter is currently attending the classes online, like pretty much everyone. And the lesson was written by the Texas Tribune, titled, Asian Americans Say Some Politicians Stoking Stigma with Coronavirus. And attached to that story was a quiz. And it included blatant statements that are anti-Trump, anti-Republican. Let's take a look at some of them.
So here's the actual question that they had to respond to. Quote, that the coronavirus has spread beyond China's border hasn't diminished the prejudice against the country. In fact, the epicenter of the pandemic is now Italy, which has surpassed China as the country with the most coronavirus deaths. And now, of course, we have surpassed Italy. Nationally, foot traffic in Chinatowns across the country has taken a nosedive. Some restaurants are reporting losses of up to 80% of their business. Whoa. Aren't all of them?
There it is.
And is it just Chinatown?
Nope.
See, we're not eating in Chinatown anymore.
But even though Nancy Pelosi said, everyone come on down to Chinatown.
So the only community adversely affected by the virus enough to be concluded in this particular story is Chinatown. Yeah. What conclusion is best supported by that paragraph, Katie? Read our options.
Well, option A, of course, is Republicans are using misleading names for the coronavirus that hurts Asian Americans.
Is it my imagination, or did CNN and the Californians first call it the China?
Oh, they all did.
They did, of course, they did, right?
Option B, the coronavirus can infect people from all countries and backgrounds. Option C, more people have died from coronavirus in China than have died in Italy. Option D, the coronavirus has negatively affected Asian American businesses.
Republicans are the only option. It's not even Westerners. It's not even evil, racist, colonialist Americans and Westerners. It's Republicans.
Right? Well, and specifically the question that they take a look at regarding Trump specific is read the following claim. This is in the lesson.
Another
Read the
one,
following claim.
From the assignment.
Republican leaders have used insensitive language based on unfounded rumors when referring to the coronavirus. Which sentence from the article proves the best support for the above statement?
It's really a rumor that this happened in China. It's a rumor.
Rumor has it, Adele said.
Rumor has it. Rumor has it. Among the choices, 1, his comment referenced a now debunked myth that the outbreak began after a woman in China ate bat soup.
Who's his? Who's his? Oh.
Cornyn later said that he meant to say that the Chinese government was to blame, not Chinese people or Chinese culture. Who has ever said that the Chinese people are to blame for this?
This is not the people themselves.
No, exactly. It emanated from their culture. Right? Things they're doing gave rise to this virus, right? Number 3, yet experts say that this kind of language encourages people to view the disease in simplistic geographical or racial terms. Oh, but white privilege right? And white supremacy and dead white guys and toxic masculinity and patriarchy. Those aren't words that cause you to think bad things about people, are they? And finally, 4, when the Ebola outbreak emerged in 2014, Africans were the primary target of bias. Why do you think when Ebola broke out, Katie, that people were concerned about Africans? Could it be that the virus originated and has killed everybody primarily and exclusively on the African continent?
Yes.
That no one outside of Africa has gotten sick with Ebola. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. And that, of course, makes them biased against Africans. Okay, I got it.
All of it just is insane.
The mom got really mad, and God bless her. The school apologized and said that the teacher would be talked to.
Usually I'm the one who gets to do these fun statements from the school.
Which means what exactly?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Well, Mom also said, I'm more worried about how the school system brainwashes these children than anything. No wonder society has become so disrespectful to our president. It's bad enough when public schools try to brainwash kids with socialist propaganda, but it's even worse when they try to brainwash the kids with communist Chinese propaganda.
Well said.
We take it and we elevate it one. That's exactly what
we ask ourselves why a woman that smart keeps her kids in public schools.
Ooh, that's a good question. Excellent. Well, speaking of questions, we have a poll that came from the College Fix, who commissioned a specific poll from College Pulse last week, and they found when they asked, who actually played a more significant role in the global spread of the coronavirus, who do you think the students said is more to blame?
Donald Trump.
Of course, Donald Trump.
Of course they did.
Well, when they took a look at it, they said...
And notice, by the way, calling it the Trump disease is not in any way biased.
No. The online poll was about 1,000 students, as it usually is. And the choices they were giving for who has played more of a role in the global spread of coronavirus, President Trump, the Chinese government, both of them equally, or neither/something else. And if you take a look at the stats that we have there, overall, 34% said the Chinese government. Overall, they're saying it's China's to blame, and yet they're saying Trump and China equally at 27%, and then the kids who have no idea what's even happening because they've checked out long ago, 23% said neither. But of course, when you take a look at it broken down by political party, the Democrats, well, they like to think that everything is Trump's fault. Or they at least are giving a little credit to China, but mostly Trump's fault.
And these are the same idiot liberal kids who 2 months ago were screaming at Donald Trump for cutting off plane flights to China, right? That was racist. And so it's a you can't win situation here. This is just, I guess what gets me about this, these are college kids. And it demonstrates the degree to which they are reflexively bigoted. We have trained reflexively bigoted kids who have no ability to critically think through things like this, who have no ability to actually process information, who are mindlessly reflexively programmed to. They're almost like Pavlov's dogs. You mentioned the word Trump and they start salivating, right?
That's true. I did like that in the comments section, because they're always given a comment section where they can weigh in on whatever they want regarding the poll. And some of the kids actually kind of spoke their mind a little bit.
Good comments,
yeah. At UTEP, one kid said 90% of Americans are locked in their homes under penalty of fines and jail. How the F are we not taking it seriously?
Right. How about from Auburn? The University of Auburn University, if you mean who could have changed the course of this outbreak more, then it's China. Not nipping it in the bud at the very beginning led to all of this, along with other countries not taking it seriously. So, nicely said.
I'm thinking
right?
that student probably went with both equally then, because they're saying we should have taken it seriously, but it's also China.
I don't think so. The Auburn comment says, who could have changed the outbreak? China.
But
they could have told the truth. They could have acted sooner. And then this person says, and because of that, other countries didn't react as quickly as they could have because they had false information.
Maybe.
Tell us what they said at the Missouri University of Science and Technology. Kate.
Well, China hid the numbers, allowed immigration, lied about transmission, lied about masks, silenced the whistleblowers, cried racism when their flights were blocked, hoarded the supplies, ... Let's blame Trump.
And the one you got to throw out there, actually disappeared the doctors who tried to call attention to this.
Poof. Gone. Never
and this
existed.
is Trump's problem. Way to go. We give the award to Missouri University of Science and Technology. Way to hit a home run.
Wait a minute. Did you say science? Could
Science
that have anything to do with it?
and
Wasn't
technology?
It wasn't the Missouri, humanities.
University of Missouri, right?
The humanities.
You remember
majors?
University of Missouri where they had the riots.
Of course. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. Well, we're going to go to Michigan State because in Michigan, they're just as bad as everyone around the nation. We now know that if you go to the Michigan State University, you know what the proper way is to say coronavirus, because you cannot say Chinese virus, you dirty racist. The Michigan State University students were sent an email, and it informed them of this proper way to refer to the coronavirus, addressing how people are calling it the Chinese virus. It was sent by Residence Education and Housing Services. The term novel coronavirus was stated as the correct term. You can say nothing else.
So you're being lectured while your kids are at home and everybody's avoiding this plague. You're being counseled by the residence hall directors. What do you think goes on in the dorms your kids go to? And if we're going to play this game, if this is Michigan State University keeping it real, right?
Go Spartans.
If you're going to keep it real, Michigan State University, how about we, in the interest of full disclosure, complete honesty, and directness, refer to you as Molested All the Gymnasts University? Let's start by calling you out, Michigan State University, for what you are.
It's pretty obvious by looking at the email what the intent of this was. They encouraged the students to sign the Hate Has No Home Here pledge as well. And that email had 8 recommendations on how to handle the coronavirus. And in doing so, by handling it, it will make this process more manageable for all of us.
Michigan State, you're one shower away from being Penn State and the Sandusky crisis. Get off your high horse and stop lecturing the rest of your residence halls. Stick to dealing with stolen soy milk.
All right. Well, some of the recommendations on how to handle the coronavirus, just so everyone's aware, is to share financially, because that's what you're supposed to do, is just share financially. So if you have $10, just share it.
Here's some infected paper money.
Here you go.
Would
Thank
you say?
you.
Yes.
Share. You also should be kind and patient with one another and take care of yourself.
Oh, and don't take advantage of your athletes when they're naked on your doctor's tables. How about that one? Can we do that one? Residence halls?
Well, according to them, words matter.
Words matter.
This disease does not discriminate.
Does it affect gymnasts too, Michigan State? Do you need to call all the girls in for a head-to-toe investigation? Put on the rubber glove test? Is that what you need to do, Michigan State University?
Oh, wow. Well, I think they would say that you are not being an upstander.
Something was upstanding when those girls were being molested. That's all I got to say. Michigan State?
You are encouraged to be an upstander by standing up to racist, dog whistle, ageist, xenophobic, classist, or other speech that divides our community.
Does that include calling out child molesters? Is that what that includes?
I could keep going, but I feel like you're just going to keep saying it.
Upstanders? You're really using that term?
They used upstander. It's not like an upstarter, but an upstander.
Upstanding behavior, Michigan State University.
Well, I've had enough of that again for the day. So you know what? Let's get some real education.
Instant classic.
You probably have heard of Rembrandt, and you have certainly seen at least one of his prolific paintings, prints, or drawings. Born in the early 17th century, Rembrandt spent 63 years, all 63 years of his life, in the Dutch Republic, capturing the emotion of people or himself in portraits, the beauty of landscapes, various historical scenes, and more. And he captures all of it in Christ in the Storm on the Lake of Galilee.
It's a beautiful painting, and take a look at it. There's that beautiful moment where Christ is sailing across the Sea of Galilee, and he's been ministering so much to people that he falls asleep. In the close-up Mike's going to put up, you'll see the tranquil face of Christ surrounded by the panicked apostles. And what happened was that while Christ was sleeping, a huge storm rose on the Sea of Galilee. And notice the beautiful frenetic action of the picture. If we're looking at the pullback picture right here. You can see the waves, the white caps of the waves. You can see the dark and ominous clouds. You can see just the panic of all the people on board. Those are all Christ's disciples and the sailors trying to make this go. And throughout all of it, Christ is tranquilly asleep. But there's hope. You will see the face of Christ, and look at the way the face of Christ, if you go back to the larger picture, it points right to the opening in the clouds. As they begin to wake Christ, the clouds have already begun to break. And you remember what Christ does. Christ stands up and he berates his disciples. What is wrong with you, he says to them, you men of little faith? How do you actually think with everything we have before us that the Father in heaven was going to let you drown? So Christ gets up and he rebukes the waves and everything goes calm as glass, right? But notice the picture one more time. While this is a beautiful abject lesson, right? When chaos surrounds you, like a virus, when a virus threatens to pull everything under, when you're at the center of an epicenter of a crisis of some kind, Christ has already told you, I got this, right? You know how the story ends. Keep your faith. Don't panic like everybody. To be a Christian means that you don't panic when everybody else does, because you know that sleeping there in the hull of your ship is the man. And as they wake him up, already the sun begins to peep through the clouds. It's a great picture. Oh, and by the way, in 1990, at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, where this painting was housed, it was stolen. And it has not been returned yet. So we're going on 30 years this painting has been missing. In 2013, the FBI said they pretty much know who has it. A crime syndicate, didn't mention which one, a crime syndicate.
Judas
stole it. It's a crime syndicate, right? And so it's probably in some mafioso boss's private collection who only he gets to see it. Because the minute he tries to show that painting, the police will be all over him.
And that's a Tuesday, people. If you like the show, please help us keep others educated by liking and sharing this episode with your family and friends on all of the platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Parler. And if you're a fan of the audio podcast, please consider giving us a 5-star review and leaving us a nice comment, because doing so actually gets us seen so that other people can hear us. It keeps us moving up in the charts. And we thank you for all of those who have already given us a nice review.
Just a quick reminder. Our Judeo-Christian online K-12 school is currently enrolling kids for the fall, a place to go to school where the virus can't get them, where school shooters can't get them, where public school sexuality teachers can't get them. Freedom Project Academy features hundreds of students attending live classes online with real teachers from the comfort of their own homes. Request your free packet at freedomforschool.com. That's freedomforschool.com. For Freedom Project, I'm Dr. Duke. She's Katie. And until next time, instant classic!